Okay, everyone, please forgive the mess in the shed as it is filled with Christmas toys and things for the kids. What I have got here, if you have been following my channel for a while, you will have seen me alluding to the purchase of this. This is a CCP, a carrier control point. This is what would have given the nuclear attack warning in the UK during the Cold War. And they were linked from major police stations to RAF filing deals. And if there had been a nuclear warhead on the way or whatever, these two telephones would have flashed red. You would have answered them. You would have heard the message from RAF filing deals, and then you would have passed on the message to all the ROC posts and various other warning districts. So I got this morning, 3 o'clock this morning. I picked this up from a guy over in England. Well, he was coming over from Scotland on the ferry, and I met him and he delivered this to me. And I've spent the morning getting it working again. And as you can see, it is working. So we've got an X path and a Y path, and that was just in case, that's obviously two different lines, output lines. And that's in case if one got knocked out, you still hopefully had the other one. So I currently have my warning system that would have been an ROC post hooked up to the X path. And that is why the X path is higher than the Y path. If I was to disconnect that, that would drop down to the same level as this one. So everything's working the way it should be. So I currently have a battery hooked up in here, and that is powering this unit and sending the necessary amplification then for the speaker in there. And there's a little LED light in there. You can just see it just in there. Now, if I had this hooked up to a telephone exchange, the way it would have been, that would have been supplying the power then to charge that battery. And the LED light would come on, and then that battery would have been charged. And that's how it was done in the posts. When you turn this off and left it, it trickle charged the battery while the post wasn't in operation. So when it came to the actual nuclear war or test phase, then once you turned everything on, then obviously the unit would, that battery would always be fully charged. So if you ever buy one of these on eBay, open this up and check the battery, because 9 times out of 10 the battery's still in it, and the battery will have leaked everywhere and it causes a lot of mess in here. So just check that. So coming out of here, I have this box here, this filter unit. And originally the filter unit was so that the teletalk could be used in the post as well. So the wire from the filter unit is coming out into the back of the carrier control point. And that's technically not really the way you're supposed to do it, but the CCP does send a signal, so you can just hook into that signal. And originally this would have been hooked up to a big box with a power supply, and then a wire that would have gone to the local telephone exchange, and that would have branched off then to all the speech receivers, and obviously the air raid sirens as well. So if we look at the front of the unit, you'll see we have the attack warning. Now this section here is for the air raid sirens. So generally during peacetime, you would have had 2 of these units in a police station. One of them would have been on standby, and one of them would have been the main unit that would have been used for the sort of the attack phase. So with this in the off position, you can't actually accidentally set off the air raid sirens in your local town, which is probably for the best. The only way you could do it was then by turning this key, and that would activate then the attack warning. And then as you can see, we've also got flood warning as well, as later on after the Cold War they would have utilised the air raid sirens as flood warning sirens, and quite a lot of them are still in use today. So at the bottom here we have speech receivers, and then we have all and select. Now all speech receivers means that if you were doing an ROC exercise and you didn't want to send an attack warning accidentally to the entire town, you would change it to select, and that meant that only ROC posts and military installations then would get the warnings on their speech receiver. And if you were doing a national exercise where you were testing the speech receivers in just normal public houses, and well, public houses again, and as in bars and banks and things like that, there you would change it to all. So we leave it at all. So as I said, these were in major police stations. So the 2 phones would ring and they would get the message, and then they would spread that out then to all the other local areas. And most major police stations had them in the station itself. And then we have the group telephone, and that was for passing messages between the police station and group. So group, that would flash, you would pick this up, and then they would give you the fallout warning black messages to let you know that fallout was approaching, and that would have come from the ROC group headquarters, which you were most local to. And then you could also call the group by pressing the group telephone button as well. So this is all wired up, and it's currently making the confidence tick. So if I press this button here, you can hear the confidence tick, and that's all being generated from the carrier control point. So every time there's a tick, you'll see that bounce up. And if I take my finger off, and then it goes into sleep mode. So the unit is on, but it's asleep. So to wake it up, the CCP has to send a series of tones, and then that wakes up this board here, which wakes up the speaker, and then plays the warning messages. So if I press down on this, so that is the 4-minute warning. You've literally heard the 4-minute warning. Then I would pick up this telephone. Attack warning red, attack warning red, attack warning red. And that was the attack warning messages. You can see the phones have these little buttons on, and you have to press those buttons down to send the message. And then you will get the confidence tick again, just to let you know the system's still working, and then that will go on for a little period of time before turning itself off. So I have been looking for one of these for about 11 years. I do have the training equipment. In fact, one of my very, very early videos will show me getting one of these working again with one of these at the Ulster Aviation Society. I got that given to me easily 9 years ago, but it was for the Ulster Aviation Society, so it was never meant for me. And I always had to give it to the ROC display at the Aviation Society. But this one is mine. All mine. And I could not be happier. I just want to thank Gavin from 28 Group Observed, who are looking after the nuclear bunker in Dundee, for sourcing this one for me and selling it to me for a pretty excellent price. These are not cheap. They are very, very rare, and when they come up for sale, they sell for a lot of money. We're talking well over £1,000. So to get one in this condition, yes, there's a little bit of rust here and there, but you know, it's used. These came out in the early to mid 80s. They were well used. They were sitting in police stations, and there wasn't very many of them made. So yeah, absolutely fantastic to get this, and absolutely fantastic that the unit is working as well, and I'm able to get it all hooked up and get it doing what it's supposed to be doing. So what I'll be able to do is, at my post, my bunker, I will be able to hook that up to the original telephone cable. So instead of having it hooked up to there, I've got a telephone point on the fence at the bunker, and I'll be able to hook that wire up to it. And then below ground in the post, I'll be able to take the feed out of the incoming line and plug it directly into this. So visitors on the surface will be able to pick up those phones, do the attack warning messages, and then give messages to people underground in the bunker, which is going to be absolutely fantastic during open days. I'm really, really looking forward to doing that. So yeah, keep a lookout for a test of that in the future. Once the weather gets better, it's far too wet to be bringing this now and sticking it on the surface. So in about April, May time next year, I'll be doing that. But yeah, brilliant. Just had to make a video to show you this. As you can see, the shed is rather messy for Christmas and just general storage over the winter period. But listen, as always, thank you very, very much for watching. Merry Christmas. And I'll see you all again next year. Bye-bye.